Good evening and God bless you. It is August 22nd, 1942. You are listening to CJMX Radio, broadcasting from the top floor of the luxurious Aurora Ballroom located in downtown Toronto. CJMX can be heard via repeat broadcast from Newfoundland to Florida, as well as Bermuda, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. CJMX can also be heard on wireless repeater stations in England, Asia, and wherever our armed forces serve. Tonight, we will continue to bring you the news, entertainment, science reports, celebrity gossip, and, of course, the finest in music.
I'd give up paradise, Sherry, your love to share. Your kisses taste like wine, and when your lips meet mine, I know that any sin with you would be divine. There's danger in your charm, Sherry, but oh, the bliss to linger in your arms, Sherry, and kiss and kiss. Just tell me when and where we'll have our love affair. There's danger in your eyes for me, Sherry, but I don't care.
Thank you, Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians. First in news, the losses of the Dieppe raid continue to be calculated by Allied intelligence. Canadian deaths are likely to exceed several thousand, with the Army enduring the bulk of the losses. We now know that several Canadian mystery men who accompanied the raid are considered to be among the casualties. Newfoundland adventurer Canada Jack is confirmed dead, while Toronto's Captain Wonder has been declared missing in action.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
When I get back to Calgary, don't say no, sirree, I'm off to Calgary. Oh, what a time there's gonna be in that romping, stomping, stampede town.
Once I get back to Calgary. You'll have to carry me out of Calgary. You've never seen the likes of me in that rope and slope and stampede town. I left Alberta where the weather is sunny to come down east to make a lot of money.
But I can hardly wait
To open up the gate out where my honey lives. When I get back to Calgary, she's gonna marry me back in Calgary. Oh, what a time there's gonna be in the droppin', stompin', clompin', ropin', slopin', totin', rootin', tootin', stampede town. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-oh. To make a lot of money, but now I own a share in an oil there. Calgary's the place for me.
when we get back.
When we get back to good old Calgary, you're gonna marry me out in Calgary.
Oh, what a time.
Oh, what a time it's gonna be in Calgary.
In that
Rompin', stompin', clompin', ropin', slopin', totin', rootin', tootin', shootin', rootin', tootin', stampede town. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-oh.
Martin Kenny and his Western Gentlemen. German delegate to the League of Nations Johann Schmidt, a.k.a. the Red Skull, insists that rumors of German incursions into the Soviet Union are exaggerated. Schmidt argues that Germany is a peace-loving nation, not currently at war with anyone. Schmidt remains adamant that France, Belgium, Holland, and many other nations accepted German rule voluntarily, as will all nations once we realize the futility of resistance and the joys of German cooking. Thank you, Millard Thomas and his Novelty Orchestra. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill also briefly addressed the League of Nations, fiercely pressing for the provisional membership of Atlantis to be made effective immediately. Churchill has previously argued on behalf of Atlantis joining the Allied nations in hopes that the Atlantean fleet can help neutralize the ongoing U-boat difficulties in the North Atlantic. Crown Prince Namor was scheduled to speak, but was sadly delayed battling Italian naval forces during an attempted invasion of Malta.
Now roll up your trousers, gang, for we're coming at you with a neat bit of jive. Patrick, you wrote it. Minor jump. Billy Carter's featured vocalist, George Lane, handles the lyrics on this bit of romance. He tells us about My Ideal.
Will I ever find the girl on my mind, the one who is my ideal? Why, maybe she's a dream, but yet she might be just around the corner waiting recognize the light in her eyes that no other eyes reveal? Or will I pass her by and never even know that she is my
Elements of the famed Black Hawk Group touched down in Newfoundland today, meeting with famed Canadian heroine Nelvana, so-called goddess of the Northern Lights. Together, Nelvana and the Black Hawks were able to locate and destroy a floating Nazi resupply base in Hudson's Bay, presumably an early attempt to create a supply chain to aid during potential invasion of North America.
Gates, though he's not dressed in red. His eyes are looking everywhere, but he never turns his head. The royal standard waves above for everyone to see. The king is with his people, 'cause that's where he wants to be. The king is still in in London, in London, in London. And he would be in London town if London Bridge was falling down. He's got a house in London, in London, in London. And there within the palace yard, the soldiers of the king stand guard. Strike up the music, roll up the drums, let all the trumpets play. Tell all the world we're facing the music. Here we all are and here we all stay. The king is still in London, in London, in London. Like Mr. Jones and Mr. Brown, the king is still in London town. In London, in London, and she would be in London town if London Bridge was falling down. She's got a house in London, in London, in London, and there within the palace yard the soldiers of the king stand guard. Strike up the music, roll up the drums, let all the trumpets play. Tell all the world we're facing the music. Here we all are and here we all stay. The Queen is still in London, in London, in London. Like Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Brown, the Queen is still in London town.
Famed gentleman detective, the Penguin, has smashed a German spy ring operating in Ontario, Quebec, and Winnipeg. This ring was described as experienced, ruthless, and well-versed in the art of extortion, targeting top Canadian military officials. Captain Lucas Preston of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has announced the end to a 48-day manhunt for Japanese super soldier Kung. Kung had been wanted for the attempted assassination of British Prime Minister Churchill, American President Franklin Roosevelt, and Canadian Prime Minister Mackenzie King. Don't forget, our troops overseas need everything from socks to jam to pencils and paper. Whatever you can donate keeps our troops fighting and our flag flying. From the Arctic to Australia, from Britain to Borneo, our Canadian boys get the job done. But they can't do it without help from home. Ask your local war resource office how you can help.